welcome back to Cooking with Cameron. Today we are at Amore with Chef Jenna.
Hi everybody.
And Chef Jenna, tell us a little bit about Amore.
So actually it was recently our 14th anniversary here in Amore. So we've been around a little while and we are authentic Italian food. I am lucky enough to take people to Italy twice a year. I usually go 3 or 4 times because I go also with my family. I just got back from Italy with my family. So I'm blessed to be able to go and learn new recipes every time I go. And you chose one of my favorite things to eat, so I'm really excited about it.
Okay. And could you tell us what we're making today?
We are making pasta e fagioli, which means pasta and beans. But it turns out to be this like lovely stewy soup full of protein. I mean, if you look at any of these white beans, they're gonna have 6 grams of protein per half a cup. So that's not a lot of beans to make 6 grams of protein. Also, when you mix beans and pasta together, your body is able to take in those proteins better. So it's a win-win situation. It's a very inexpensive meal, but it's very healthy. So that's also a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to get started? Are you going to cut or am I going to cut? Are you going to chop or am I going to chop?
I want you to judge me on my chopping skills.
Okay, awesome.
So let's get started.
So I always start with olive oil. Obviously this is a honker of olive oil. You don't need this much. But since I own a restaurant, I always have it in bulk. Extra virgin olive oil is really important. So please, if you can purchase that, you don't need a lot of it. So it might seem expensive, but right now you can find it at the store for a pretty awesome price. Extra virgin olive oil is what all Italians use. It's got a very high burn point, but it also has such good flavor and it's really good for you. So I'm a fan of either olive oil or olive oil and butter together. Because if you just put butter, the butter burns. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna start with a lot of oil because that's what Nonna used to do. It was fill it with oil on the bottom. Yeah. Olive oil, lots of it. So that's what we're gonna saute all these vegetables in. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have you chop the onion, chop a couple cloves of garlic, and while you're doing that, I'm gonna peel this carrot. Okay. Does that sound good? Yeah. Once we have everything peeled, we'll turn this on and get it heated up. So while you're doing that, it's important to talk about what we're doing now. It's called sofrito in Italian. Sofrito is the mixture of onion, celery, and carrots to start off any recipe. And it really does start off every recipe with a delicious flavor profile. Just having those 3 things in there, sauteing. And this is how we start our meat sauce upstairs. This is how I start almost all of my soups. So it's an awesome new word for you to know, sofrito. Have you heard of sofrito before?
I have not.
Okay, cool. So sofrito is very important in all of the Italian recipes. So I'm glad we're starting with that.
How about that?
That looks great. We got to put the whole onion in though.
Oh, the
Get
whole
all
onion.
of it. Oh yeah.
Okay.
We don't play. We're gonna do the whole onion. More onion, the better. You're good at that.
Thank you. I'm very nervous.
Why? Don't be nervous.
Because when it's just me, I can pretend like I'm the expert.
You are the expert. I'm gonna start warming up that olive oil in this pan, and so it's nice and happy when we throw those onions in there. Why did you get excited about cooking?
Well, I really got into cooking when I was a little bit younger. It started with like making pancakes and making like eggs, omelets, and stuff like that my sister taught me. But actual cooking, like, I kind of just delved into it once I started working and I had the money to, buy really nice ingredients. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, we don't waste anything. I'm putting all this on there. I'm big on not wasting anything. While you're doing that garlic, I'm gonna get the celery in there too. And we're gonna teamwork, make the dream work right here.
What's the best way to peel garlic?
I usually hit it with my knife. I'll show you.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
So I just like put it on here and then just smack it. And that helps you peel it better. See how it just gets juicy and everything just wants to come off of there? See, it came off real quick. There you go. Little trick. So, I'm a messy cook, I know. He was probably really surprised about that. So we can talk about also cooking times.
Okay.
Because carrots take a little bit longer to cook, we could have put them in first, but at this point on a soup, it's not really gonna matter because we're gonna boil it for a while anyway. So remember that when you're cooking though, if you think about cook time with each level you're putting in, carrots will take the longest out of these three, and then celery, and then onions at the last.
About how long do carrots take?
They just take like 3 or 4 minutes longer, or it also depends on how thick you cut them, honestly.
Gotcha.
So now something this thick is going to take longer to cook. So either cut it a little smaller.
Gotcha.
Unless you want a big chunk, and that's fine too. So it's not about perfection, honestly. You know, I've been to those restaurants where they have every single piece the exact same size. I'm not about that life. Like, I like a big hunk of carrot. I want it to be juicy, you know?
Right. But it just shows that even if you can't really cook, you can cook this.
Yes. And the best part about this is I'm a vegetarian, and this is a completely vegetarian dish. But it's higher in protein than a lot of the other dishes. So that's why it's a poor cucina povera means a poor man's food. So these are what you could make even if you didn't have money and still be healthy. And a lot of Italians have their own gardens, so it's even cheaper for them to cook. Look how pretty that is, Cameron.
It's amazing.
Doesn't it smell good too? So what we're doing now is we're just sauteing it until it's see-through or brown a little bit, and then we're gonna add that hot water.
Nice. Okay.
So the reason why we're adding the hot water next, do you know why that is?
Is it to deglaze it?
We're cooking that pasta in that water.
Gotcha.
You want to cook the pasta before we finish it.
Gotcha.
So that's gonna.
So
take
you don't
the
have to
longest.
separate it. You don't have to have a separate
No,
pot.
why would you do more dishes? This is how we're gonna cook it, and then it's gonna have more flavor because we're gonna add broth to it. So the pasta is like a little sponge. It's gonna cook, sucking in that delicious broth, and the pasta's gonna taste better because of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you want to get in there and see where we're at, it looks good. It smells amazing too. I know, and we're not even close. So while we're doing that, I want to talk about fresh herbs. This is rosemary, and I love rosemary. It smells so good. So, but it's overpowering. So I just want to do a few, and you take from the top and you pull down this way, and then I'm just gonna. This is all I want. I just want the smallest amount in there, just to add a little bit of flavor.
Okay.
But if I add too much, it's really overpowering.
Gotcha. So just a few sprigs.
Just a few leaves. And then I just always try to get it up on my knife and throw it in there.
Nice. So what does the rosemary really add to the dish?
There's just some kind of a profile that rosemary has that adds just a little bit. Like, you're gonna taste it, but you're gonna be like, that's not overpowering, I just taste a little bit. And once you get it in that oil, it really opens up.
Gotcha, yeah.
So we're gonna add that hot water now, and I'm just gonna add enough to cook this pasta. So I think maybe a little more. So you want to eat some of this, right? So then this is one of my secret ingredients. It's caldo di tomate. It's a Knorr product, and it is like basically instant broth.
Gotcha.
And this is tomato, so it's going to add to our tomato flavor we already have. And what I always do is just kind of look, pour it in, and then taste it. So if you look into this pot now, you'll see that it's got a red tint to it because we added that. But we're going to taste it and see if it needs more.
Gotcha.
The other cool thing you can do if you love Parmesan cheese like I do is the rind of the cheese can go into this pot, and that adds extra flavor too. You can eat it. It's like a cheesesteak.
That is good.
Yeah, it's already got flavor. So then what we're gonna do, once this boils, the rule is look on your container, see how it says al dente in 10 to 12 minutes. So once this is boiling, I'm gonna put this pasta in here, and we're gonna put a timer on.
Gotcha.
And that's what I do because I'm old and I forget everything. But this is gonna take a minute to boil.
Gotcha.
And the cool part is when this is boiling and cooking the pasta, it's also cooking the carrot. So it's gonna be where we want it to be. So it's all really about the symphony of timing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of know cook times on things. But by the time this pasta is cooked, everything else is gonna be perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. All in all, this meal is probably gonna take us 20 minutes to make, which isn't very bad.
Right.
If you think about it. And this is really good next day. Like,
is it?
It's really good. I would love to do food costs on it because I think this is a $10 meal for 4 people, which brings it to $2.50 a person.
Everything I bought was $9.
So if we're at $10 to $12, you know, it's a $3 meal. That's really hard to beat. And it's got everything in it. How's it looking? I'm trying to see. Yeah.
Oh, it's coming.
Yep.
It's coming.
So I'm going to throw this in and we're gonna put a timer on. Ready? So let's do 10 minutes. And like I said earlier, pasta is like a little sponge. So it's gonna soak up whatever kind of thing it's in, which this is broth. So we added a little tomato and veggie, and the veggies themselves have a good flavor too, right?
Right.
So while we're standing here, we might as well pull these off and chop these up for this. I love, the more basil, the better. So I love just picking it off and chopping it right in, and we can throw it right in that pot right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do we roll it up or chop it up?
Chop it. We're not that serious.
If somebody doesn't have fresh lemon, it's dry.
It's an option, but I don't like that option.
No?
I prefer fresh. And you can get fresh basil anywhere right now. And
How's
you can
that?
even grow it in your house. You can get a plant at Trader Joe's for $3 and keep it alive in your windowsill.
Yeah.
And it's gonna grow basil.
Ours was $3, and now it's
Yeah, see, so
Add it in.
it's worth it. Yep, add it in.
And
so good.
I'm pretty sure you can use your food stamps and bridge card to buy seeds and
Seeds, plants that you can grow in your garden. These are actually pretty cheap. So if you want to start your own garden, it's pretty easy. You can find a decent list of vegetables that grow like naturally in Michigan, and those are usually like the best ones to grow like in the fall or in the summer or spring.
And some of the times you can get an indoor garden to work if you put it in the window. Just the basics, the basil, you know, all of that stuff.
Especially herbs.
Yeah, herbs are, to me, fresh herbs is nothing better, you know.
Right.
It changes the flavor. So notice I'm stirring it a little. I just don't want the pasta to get stuck to the bottom at all. But you can see it's gonna cook in there. It's gonna be delicious. So this is a ditalini, which is typical for pasta fagioli. Like this is what you think of in Italy when you have it. But any short, small, cute pastas will do. It can be the ABCs. It can be the dinosaurs. It can be the little stars. It can be those little tiny, they look like angel hair but cut really short. Any of those short pastas, orzo works. Any of the small pastas are perfect for this.
So any pasta you would give to kids?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Any pastas you would put in a little soup. Another favorite of mine,
Look at that bubble. Wow.
I know. Another favorite of mine is called acini di pepe, and they look like little couscous. And the mouthfeel is really good when you're eating a soup because it feels like tapioca almost, if that makes sense. And those are, you used to be able to get them in Miami. But the cool part and the crazy part about pasta is it expands 4 to 5 sizes. So what's going to happen here is that once this ditalini is cooked, it will almost be to that top of this pan because the pasta will expand so much. So it's going to turn into so much food, which is the cool part about rice and pasta and all of those things. And also we can talk about how easy it is to make our homemade pasta sauce that we make at Amore. That's right here. It is literally onion.
Okay.
It's 5 ingredients. Olive oil, onion sauteed in olive oil. Add tomato, crushed tomato.
Crushed tomato. Okay.
Then you add fresh basil.
Fresh basil, because you only use fresh basil.
And then sea salt. That's it.
And sea salt.
That's what this is here. No sugar, no additives. That's it. So the cool part about cooking too is you can involve your family. Whoever they may be, young or old, they can help cook. And it's a life skill. And it's one of the best life skills you could teach your children.
You don't have to be perfect at it.
You don't, really. We didn't measure anything.
No.
We're just playing, having fun, and the most important thing is tasting it.
Right.
If once you taste it, you can adjust it, but never serve it to anyone before you taste it. Number 1 rule.
Gotcha.
Always taste your food before you serve
Always
it to
taste your
someone
food.
else. Yes. So, also I'm a big fan of this brand because sometimes you buy the cooked beans in a can and they're still kind of hard.
Yeah.
These are so soft already. And so this I got a 2-pack at Sam's, I think for $6. So they're $3 for this big thing. We're getting there. Look how pretty they are already.
They're already like taking on the color of
The color, and they're growing, you know? So we're so close to being done. How do you feel about that?
That is quick.
It's cool, right? And like I said, saving from boiling the pasta separate is so much better, because if you just boil the pasta in plain salted water, it's not going to taste as good as this is. Because this is literally taking on all the ingredients that we already put in there. So you want to open that up? I think we're pretty close. So if we pick up this one of the fat carrots and put our finger through it, we're going to see that it's getting there. And throw them beans in there.
All right.
And all the juice of the beans.
All the juice.
Yep, you don't drain the beans. That has flavor. Here, you can use the end of this spoon.
Gotcha. And like, what is the water called? It's called like aquafaba? Aquafaba?
I mean, I just call it bean water. Because fabas would be for fava beans.
Gotcha.
And these are white beans. And they call them cannellini in Italian.
Cannellini.
Cannellini beans.
What other kind of dishes can you do with this? Like
With
Italian?
cannellini beans? I use them mostly for soup. But you can make hummus out of it too.
Really?
It makes a really good hummus.
Huh. If you don't like garbanzo beans.
Yeah, if you don't like chickpeas, you can easily use white beans. Look at how much we're getting out of that. Look at all that.
That is so much food.
Put that tomato sauce in there now.
Okay.
And we're gonna be tasting it, adding some pepper, and we'll be done. I'm gonna go upstairs and get some parm so we can plate it so everyone can see what it should look like. Look at that. Oh my god, that's sexy. Oh
This is definitely like a way to like impress a date with
Yes.
your cooking skills.
Right, and it's not that hard. As you can see, it's only going to take us 15 to 20 minutes to pull this off.
Right.
All right, black pepper, do you want to do the honors? It's right
Yes.
here. I'm a pepper girl, so I'm going to like want a lot of it. And you can always put more pepper after, but I love fresh cracked pepper for the same reason. Get your muscles in there. Okay, so we want to sprinkle a little oregano on top and we'll be done.
All right.
You don't need a lot. It's the smallest amount, like the rosemary.
Gotcha.
It tastes different.
Yeah, it really does.
What was your favorite thing that you ate while you were there, just there?
Ooh. I had some killer zucchini. No, it was pumpkin ravioli with brown butter and sage. Oh, I love that. Or gnocchi. I love gnocchi.
I love gnocchi too.
All right, so what I'm gonna do now is go upstairs and get us some bowls and then a little bit of parm. And we're gonna see how delicious. We're gonna taste it before we serve it though.
Of course.
Okay, so I'll be right back. Let's get in here and try it. Let's see if it needs more salt. I'm a saltaholic, so it might need more salt for me. Yep, I need more salt. More salt meaning more of this.
And what is that again, Jenna?
This is just like a broth, it's like a powder broth that just adds flavor.
Could you also use like bouillon just to add the
Yep,
flavor?
yeah, that's what that is. It's just powdered bouillon.
Gotcha.
All right, now I'm going to show you how we would serve it in Italy. So get a little bit of everything here. Put it in here. Get the broth on the top part. Then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of parm.
Or nutritional yeast.
Or nutritional yeast for the vegans. And there's something, oh, drop the whole thing in there. There's something called finishing olive oil that you can drizzle on top too.
Okay.
Which I love, like a really good olive oil on top.
What is finishing olive oil?
It's just a more expensive olive oil that's usually cold pressed the same day and bottled the same day. So it tastes like very bitter. It has this every little town has their different flavor profile. That's for, they get their own one. There you go. So depending on where you go, every little town thinks their olive oil is the best. But I just bought some finishing olive oil when I was in the sea. It was a little town called Cattolica, and I got an olive oil there just to try to see how it compared to the other ones I've had.
I could not imagine eating this without these croutons now.
I know, right? The croutons just add a little something
Are the
crunchy.
croutons from your focaccia bread?
No, but we do make them. They're from an Italian loaf that we buy.
Hey, Jenna, we didn't talk about food hugs. Could you
Oh,
talk to
yeah.
us about food
Yeah,
hugs?
food hugs.
Yeah, so I have a nonprofit that I started during COVID called Food Hugs. And it initially started with feeding frontline workers, surprising them with meals, trying to make their day, give them some hope with all the things they were going through and being very short-staffed. And then we started doing something called Tip Back Thursday, which we would crowdfund and then sit at a restaurant who we knew the server was struggling and give them $1,000 tip. And we've done that 70 times now. So $70,000 of tips to only local restaurant workers. We've given away 6 cars to single parents in the industry, all crowdfunded as well. And we just continue to grow. We're doing scholarships for females who want to be in the industry because I'm one of the only ones in this town that is a female chef. And I always think that there will be more people at the next event I go to, and there's never more girls. So I'm really trying to hone in on girls. So we have a scholarship fund named after my mother-in-law who just passed, Nana Victoria Food Hug Scholarship. But we just keep learning and growing and doing more cool things. So the most recent tip back we did was at Happy Cat Cafe because someone sold a tip jar. And it wasn't even their tip jar, it was their donation jar. So people could adopt cats and they could be helped to adopt cats in need of being adopted. So we showed up and gave them $1,000 to add to back into their budget so they can continue to give. So it's a lot of very community friendly, hope dealing and bringing joy to people that are not expecting it, which is really fun to do. So I love what we do with Food Hugs, and we just gonna keep getting better and doing cooler things.
Well, speaking of hugs, I have to hug you because this is amazing.
It was so fun to show you my recipe.
Yes. Wow.
It's good too, right?
It's really good.
Yep.
Would you suggest any other beans or only use Great Northern?
I like
Or
Great Northern for this
cannoli.
one.
How do you say it?
Cannellini.
Cannellini beans.
I prefer cannellini with this recipe.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use garbanzo if you want.
Okay. What would you pair this with?
Arugula salad with a
Arugula
little
salad.
balsamic vinegar, olive oil, or lemon juice and olive oil. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
We eat a lot of arugula at our house. We just love it. So I think that's the perfect meal. This, arugula salad, a glass of wine. Really good.
What's your favorite kind of wine?
Well,
Listen, that is date night ideas.
yes. I love Prosecco.
Okay.
But with this, in the winter, I would have like a Chianti or something, like a Vino Nobile or something from the region that this recipe is from.
Gotcha.
Which region is this from?
It's usually around Tuscany, where all the bean soups are from.
Okay.
Yeah, so Chianti is from that region. We talked about earlier, it's a poor food that has turned into a rich food for us, and we're getting more knowledgeable about why they were eating these. It's because it kept them full all day, and they had more energy because of the protein. So,
is there anything else you'd like to add? Any other bits of wisdom?
no, just be kind to one another, and if you can bring your neighbor a meal or someone in need that's not feeling well, or just someone you want to give a pick-me-up to, the nicest thing you can do is bring them a meal. It does bring joy, no matter what it is.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with me making this meal.
Absolutely.
This has been amazing.
So good.
And then tune in. The next episode is going to be equally as amazing. We won't have Chef Jenna, but still tune in. And I'll see you guys next time.
Ciao.